Sally, Moriah pointed out just now that we are operating off of an older budget, the 2023, 2024 previous state budget. North Carolina has a shifting landscape, and just like any place in the world has a growing population. Is it even possible for a 2023, 2024 state budget to meet the needs of a 2026 North Carolina? Like, is that even, from a number standpoint, even possible?
No, that outdated budget is absolutely not meeting the needs of North Carolinians in 2026. As you mentioned, our population is growing and households, feel the effects of inflation in their own household budgets. Inflation also impacts our state budget. It costs more to provide the same level of services. Those costs are going up over time. The number of people that we need to serve in our state goes up over time, and our needs change. We just had this massive federal legislation in 2025, the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill, that shifts new costs onto state government and local government for the first time that used to be covered by the federal government. So now the state is required to comply with this federal legislation that they didn't know about back in 2023. The circumstances have changed. And as we were talking about with the well-being budget, a true well-being state budget would assess the real needs in communities. We see teachers leaving to teach in states where they're paid better. We see childcare centers closing in North Carolina despite a great need for accessible, affordable childcare. We see long waits at the DMV. Our Medicaid program is set to run out of funding in April. So the needs are urgent. They're different than they were in 2023. And so that's why lawmakers really need to make a choice here about, are we going to secure the revenue, the public dollars that North Carolinians need in 2026 and pass a state budget that meets that need instead of continuing these automatic tax cuts? And that's where we are talking about democracy, of bringing the people's voice to say, we don't want tax cuts for the rich. We do want our well-being needs funded in North Carolina.
The people's needs aren't being met, and that's really sad because it's the people's dollars. It's really their state dollars that are not being allowed to be used on the services and the things that they need. When we start to think about their needs not being met, but also lawmakers needing to make this decision, Moriah, what would need to happen for a budget to be approved? And hypothetically, when could this happen? And more importantly, when could the people's needs be met?
So that is a very good question. So right now, we know that lawmakers are expected to come back this month or next month in April to restart debates on the budget and hopefully getting that for our state. So that means that they'll be re-debating these tax cuts and sort of negotiating on whether to slow down or speed up these tax cuts again. So in order for that to happen, the state House leader and state Senate leader would have to agree on whether to slow down or speed up these tax cuts for the rich and for corporations. So that could happen this session, starting April and going until June or late June when this fiscal year ends. We would really need the state and House leadership to come to some sort of agreement on whether to slow down or speed up these tax cuts for a budget to be approved.